lovelies, it's Miss Sadie Lace here, and today I have for you the next fabulous edition of my Vintage Tea With Me series. This is a regular segment I feature on my YouTube channel where I simply sip tea and chat on a topic with all of you. For today's fabulous topic, we're going to be discussing vintage fashion and historical accuracy. For those of you who are new to vintage fashion or haven't heard of historical accurate fashion, this is simply referencing fashion that accurately depicts the fashion that would have been worn at that time. For instance, if you were dressing up as someone from the 1940s and you wore historically accurate clothing, you'd look like someone out of that era. With historical accuracy, there's many different elements that can be incorporated, such as architecture, design, and so much more, but today we're just going to be looking at fashion. Historical accuracy is something I'm actually asked about on quite a regular basis. Many people on the street will actually come up to me and ask if I'm a reenactor, if I'm an actor in a play depicting a certain era, or if there's a specific era I'm trying to dress up as. For my personal style, I like to think that I amalgamate a couple different eras together, add in my own little vintage flair, and this creates my personal aesthetic. I don't try and dress historically accurate. There's not a specific era at one time that I'm trying to depict very thoroughly. More often than not, I'm just trying to invoke a certain look of glamour and fun and frivolity and have fun with my look above everything else. I do love historical accuracy though. When I see someone on Instagram or out and about who has just nailed an era completely, it just brings me so much joy. Or when I watch a film that's just so close to what it would have been like during that era, it brings me so much happiness. For me though, that sort of commitment doesn't bring me joy, and I'm not about trying to commit to a certain lifestyle, so I do not have the ideologies of someone from the 40s or 50s. I do not have those beliefs, just like I don't wear all those specific fashions religiously. I rather have fun and play with styling. The specific eras I draw most inspiration from would be the 40s and 50s, but definitely the 30s, 60s, before and after these periods give me so much inspiration as well. I'd love to know in the comments below if you are someone who does dress historically accurate and what sort of challenges that brings, or if you don't dress historically accurate, what eras are most inspiring to you? 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s or 60s, or maybe another era beyond or before these? I'd love to know in the comments below. Looking at historically accurate costuming in films, television, and theatrical productions, many of these aren't actually that accurate. A lot of films are done incredibly well, but definitely the design team has taken their own creativity and it added a flair of this to that. I think it's a bit of waste of energy to get angry when someone who dresses vintage or a film and production don't get everything historically accurate. It's all about creativity for these people who are doing these sorts of things, and we should definitely celebrate this. One of my biggest pet hates in pinup and vintage culture is when people try and dictate how it should be done and create rules on how to actually do something. Pinup and vintage is all about confidence, fashion, fun, and all these beautiful things. When we try and start to dictate how people should do this, it really sucks the fun out of it and ruins that beautiful community that we can have if we all come together and celebrate each other's vintage looks. Like all things in life, I think the best thing to do is focus on being the best version of yourself, whether it's something personally you're working in or your fashion goals. And if you're at the beginning of your journey or you feel you're not quite where you want to be style-wise, know that it takes time. My vintage fashion journey has now been going for about 13 or so years, and I'd say even before that I had a lot of interest in historical dress and costuming. It's been a long road of trial and error, and I definitely feel, being a little bit older now, that I really have refined my style to a place where I'm really happy. Who knows where this vintage road will take me? Maybe one day historical accurate dress will be something I'm more interested in. I do think think making some historically accurate YouTube videos for all of you would be some fun, whether it's a look, hair and makeup, or something like that. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see. I do actually research a lot on vintage fashion, so I do understand a lot of the elements and principles of historical accurate looks. At this point, I feel so incredibly ridiculous. This is probably the most I've ever used the phrase historical accuracy. Hopefully it doesn't bother you too much, as it's very much the topic of the video, and I hope you found it a little bit interesting and something fun to cover in my YouTube videos. With your vintage fashion, let having fun be the most important part of your journey and become the beautiful version of yourself that you're meant to be. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I will have another video up on Thursday, so do stay tuned for that. If you'd like to follow my daily pinup adventures, I post super regularly on Instagram, so I'll pop a little link here as well as at the end of the video. And if you'd like to never miss out on one of these vintage videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button below, and I'll be seeing you all real soon.